Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today, on the second dev server for Update Red Skies, it's time to have a look at a new naval vehicle which is coming to the game for Germany. Now, this vehicle is the VS-8 Schell 1, and it's actually been in the game before. This vehicle was one of the first vehicles used by Gaijin to actually test the mine idea, which you can see right here. And the mines are obviously quite powerful when they want to be, but generally it was an idea that has not really taken precedent over anything until maybe now, with a few changes to mines, increasing their time expiry by quite a lot. So we may see this thing have a little bit more of a place. It is a premium for the Germans, and you will find it in the coastal fleet at rank 3, so you can and will be able to use it for dailies, specials, events, and all of that good stuff, and good grinding through the tech tree as well, since the majority of it is rank 4 and below. The vehicle is armed with 4 15mm MG151s, 2 in the center here, and then you've got one here and one here. And also, it doesn't have a lot of armor, it doesn't have a lot of crew, so survivability is pretty low. But the main thing that it has is obviously the mines, and the idea is you're supposed to get into a good position in the game, throw the mines out to put off the enemy, and then gun down any planes or anything like that that gets anywhere close. There's no armor protection apart from the standard armor protection on this, which is 4mm of steel, so you're not stopping anything. And also the wood superstructure as well is only 10mm, so you're not going to be stopping any shells coming in, even HE. And one of the things to note about this thing, it's actually really big. It doesn't look very big because it's quite thin, but it's a huge vehicle, and we'll compare it to some other machines just to kind of show you what I mean. When it comes to modifications, it's pretty standard. You do get artillery support, which is quite nice. Obviously, being a premium, you get all this stuff spaded for free, which is nice. And then you have APIT and HEIT for the 15mm. I think personally I'd probably go for HE on this thing, just because you don't run into too much stuff with armor. The only issues you're going to have are those Soviet armored gunboats, but that's an issue for a lot of people when it comes to this. It also has 2 engines that you can see here. It can go 101 kilometers an hour in arcade, remember. I do play arcade naval, not realistic. And then it has the bridge, fuel tanks, and also a bunch of ammo in the front. This thing should be able to get overpressured quite easily, or hull broken quite easily, and at the same time you can maybe see something special. It's actually a hydrofoil. This thing leaps itself out of the water, giving it extra speed to be able to move around in, which I actually think is pretty cool. Even the mines themselves, you can see they've actually put them in the X-ray now, so with the explosive type, explosive mass, and also the mode contact mine idea, which I think is really cool. So big ups to that, plus the 15mm as well. When we have a look at the customization, there's no customization for this machine, unfortunately. Hopefully at some point maybe they add something such as some cool more decorations or decals for machines like this, and I'm sure they will going forward. So the interesting thing about stuff like the VS-8 Schell is obviously the mines. You know, this machine is designed as a mine layer, and with the buff to mines, it does now give you an opportunity to have this thing be a little bit more useful. The main problem with mines before is the time that they had to actually work was very limited. You know, you're talking about 2 to 5 minutes depending on which update you look at, and even less than that in the majority of cases. But then, if you have a look at the most recent notes, at least on the last dev server, they upped that to 15 minutes, meaning that you now have a ton more time to place mines and also make them a little bit more useful. Now, one of the problems with the 15s is you're probably seeing here look at where the 15s are aimed. So these are kind of designed, at least they seem to be, as anti-air guns. And that means that getting them all on target at once is pretty much impossible, meaning that you can get 3 on at once at one point. You can see here I have 3 right there, but you can never get all 4 onto a target unless you're firing it into the air. So you're limited in the amount of you're limited in the amount of DACA that you can put out against enemy ships. And it's not just that, it's also the fact that because you are a hydrofoil, you are on a raised platform, which makes it a bit more annoying to even hit stuff which is a bit closer to you. The speed is really good though, and the mines is pretty much why you buy something like this. The major thing about this vehicle as well, being a hydrofoil, it does take ages to turn, so it takes a while to be able to get around the place, but once it does, you know, the fact that you can poke down some mines and they have this really nice little animation that you can see here is really cool. Like I'm happy, I'm very happy that they added this thing back in, and I'm very happy that they've just made mines a bit more usable. Even the new map in Naval, like the Drowned City map, it's very much designed around machines like this, and the idea of putting mines everywhere. You know, there's a lot of very small corridors which are designed to kind of focus gameplay, and with machines like this you can block them off incredibly easily with the mines that are in tow. And I think that's really cool. I think the fact that we have something like that, which is designed not really to limit gameplay, but actually just to make it a little bit close quarters, is nice. We've seen a trend recently in Naval where you get maps which try and either do the middle ground, where you get the ideas of big ships and small ships, so you have an area which is designed for the small ships to fight, and then the big ships fight around the larger area, and this works, you know, every so often. But the major issue with stuff like that is that it doesn't work very well once you get to like the slightly higher echelons, like around 4.7 or 5.0, because the destroyers and the cruisers just dominate missions which are near them in the coastal fleet. To have a map which is pretty much dedicated to the coastal fleet means that you now have an area where ships like this or boats like this can thrive again. Stuff like Elcos and stuff can thrive again, instead of just getting gunned down by destroyers and get annihilated. One of the saddest things to me with the change to the research sector was that meant that a lot of people didn't grind through stuff like PT boats and battle boats to be able to get to the ships, and therefore we had a massive wave of people playing reserve destroyers. And that pretty much made a ton of vehicles around the 3.0 or 2.7 to 3.3 mark in the coastal really tough to play, because you had to contend with people running around in vehicles which took a lot of damage to be able to kill. And the fact is now, with the way that the matchmaking is, you have just really rough scenarios a lot of the time. I wonder if I blow this up. Can I blow it up? That's kind of funny. Oh my. Okay. I don't know if I got hit by it. Nope. That's just how this thing turns. Fair enough. Yeah, so if you didn't know, you can blow up mines, which is obviously a tactic. You can use them as a proximity bomb, I suppose. But yeah, it's kind of funny to think about. This poor Fletcher. Did you hear that fire, by the way? Sounds lovely, doesn't it? War Thunder is such a beautiful game. It really is. I think that one's moving. Oh dear. That Fletcher is definitely dying. But yeah, the fact is with the new maps like Drowned City, the ideas are pushed forward from them. I'm very happy to see vehicles like this, so they're going to have a bit more use. At the same time as well as that, the VS-8 can only really be used once your team already has the initial advantage, because then you can put mines around capture points on their side of the aisle. It's pretty much a machine to keep people back. It's not a machine to get the initial advantage. So if your team can't get the initial advantage for you, or you can't get it because of the vehicle that you're in, then it's going to be a bit of a rough time to be able to really do anything in this, because of your low survivability and because of the fact that you are much more designed to just, well, lay mines. So hopefully at some point, you know, you'll get those magical games where everything will come together. hopefully you'll have those times where it'll be very fun to just go around and lay mines. But I feel like a lot of the time you're going to be in brawls with the 50mm you don't really want to be in, instead of laying mines like this thing is designed to do. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank BRFC, Swollen Ostrich, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Lafouche, Barine, and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.